Hello, everyone. This is Arcelio Hernandez from San Jose, Costa Rica. I am a lawyer in Costa Rica and also a certified translator English Spanish. Um, Usually, I make videos about legal topics, but being this is the end of the year, I like to talk about different aspects of Costa Rican life. And today, I want to talk to you about a little bit about coffee, and a little bit about cocoa. These are like traditional products in Costa Rica. Uh, these are uh, probably the most important historically to Costa Rica's history, culture, development. Um, Costa Rica refers to coffee as its grano de oro, which means uh, the golden bean, basically. Uh, our tradition goes back to the 18th and 19th centuries. We began exporting coffee, high quality Arabica beans of coffee, which caused Costa Rica to be one of the very first places in the world to have electrified lighting. Lighting. We had lighting in our parks before many other countries because we were successfully exporting coffee to places in Europe and North America and other places. So for us, for Costa Ricans or ticos as we are called sometimes affectionately, we coffee is basically a tradition that involves everyday life, and to us it's like a ceremony. Every morning we sit with family and we drink our coffee. I don't know how you like your coffee. I like it without sugar because um, I was developing diabetes, so I try to get away from sugar as much as possible a few years ago, and now I got used to it. So actually, I think that the taste, you can appreciate the taste of coffee much better if you get used to drinking it without any sugar. But some people prefer to, use a little sugar or a little cream, or milk. Since I was a kid, I preferred my coffee with milk. So I would call my mom and ask for café con leche, which is coffee and milk. And so also, I think it's important. Costa Rica is a big producer of cocoa. We also do lots of exports, and cocoa has cocoa. Cacao we call it in Spanish. It has many health benefits. I read recently about a study that was published where some elderly people were consuming cocoa daily. I'm talking about 100% pure cocoa, not the mixed with sugar and milk and all that stuff. No, pure cocoa I'm talking about. And after 60 days, I believe was the term, after 60 days, they ran some tests, and it turns out your body, out of your bone marrow, you start producing stem cells. Can you believe that? I mean, now, the beauty about stem cells, as you know, is that they can turn into any type of cell of the body that your body needs repaired, liver cells or heart cells, whatever. So it's wonderful. I think it's great. It's very healthy. I was um, talking about this with some clients, and I've told them, my parents, I bought cocoa for them, and the 100% pure cocoa I'm talking about. I'm not talking about again those mixtures, where they have a little bit of cocoa and a bunch of other stuff. I'm talking about pure cocoa, and I gave my parents some of this because they're in their 70s, and of course their body starts to ache and the knee and all these things. So I hope it'll help them because I recently found out about the benefits of cocoa. So actually what I do is I mix coffee and I put in a teaspoon or a spoonful of cocoa in it. No sugar for me. I mean that's your preference, but um, I like it just with no sugar. But I do add cocoa now. So I have my coffee and I add cocoa to it and I drink it every day. And so if you visit Costa Rica, you will see that coffee is a basic part of our morning ritual of breakfast, and sometimes throughout the day. People. My colleague here, she's a lawyer also, drinks coffee all day. So recently I've increased the number of cups that I drink daily because she's always like, licenciado, café. She's always like, do you want some coffee? And it's hard to say no. Yeah, I love coffee, and so yeah, cocoa also has historical roots. Very important historical roots. It was used by our ancestors, as currency. Actually, they used the cocoa seeds as currency. So this includes indigenous people like the Bribri and the Cabécar. Those are two indigenous tribes in Costa Rica. They've used it for centuries, for their rituals and their diets. So, it has a lot of cultural significance. That's what I'm trying to say. Cocoa. Um, we like our chocolate caliente, our hot chocolate. Kids love it too. My kids love it. I mean, we when we go out, sometimes instead of a soft drink or anything, I'll recommend that they drink some cocoa, or some other drink that is not as filled with sugar. I keep saying this because I've had some problems, health problems in the past. So I'm trying to get away from sugar. But this is a great alternative. Cocoa, a cocoa drink, hot cocoa, and just ask the waiter not to add any sugar to it, and you drink the pure thing. So I think, like I said, for Costa Ricans, it's very important. Um, our love of coffee and our love of cocoa. Those two products, like I said, those two, uh, uh, cocoa and coffee, that's very integrated into our culture. So, when you visit Costa Rica, make sure to also take some souvenirs and take some coffee because Costa Rican coffee is among the best in the world. We compete in these international fairs, and we tend to be among the very first places in the world because of the high quality of our coffee beans. One time I went to like an international fair, one that I'm talking to you about. It's called Groceries Innovation in Toronto, Canada, in Ontario, Canada. And I went with the manager of a cooperative from Costa Rica who wanted to introduce their coffee brand to the Canadian market. And it was very interesting. We met with a representative from the second largest supermarket chain in Canada. And we talked to him about how the coffee is produced by this cooperative and the quality and other issues. And believe it or not, they bought from him. They bought coffee from this cooperative. And people, they create these cooperatives in several areas of the country. They're families, like small producers. They get together and they form a cooperative, and then they have these opportunities to sell abroad even. So he started this manager of this cooperative. He started exporting coffee to Canada. So I mean, we're talking very large markets. So people in these fields, they can do very well. We have many coffee producing families who have been doing this for decades, and they do very well. They do very well. They have uh, land and they have good income because they sell their coffee. So coffee, like I said, is very very important to Costa Rica. Very important to its history. Very important in everyday life. So when you come to Costa Rica and you sit down with some ticos, expect to be offered a cup of coffee. So have a great day. I wanted to talk to you briefly about some of Costa Rica's traditions, some of Costa Rica's cultural aspects, and coffee is very important as well as cocoa. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching me, and we'll be in touch.